Brad and guest. Not Bob. Scott. Brad. Where am I? Why, my face is not on here anymore. Where did my face go? Whatever. We'll just run it without my face. We don't need me. We'll just have you. Let's see if I do BKR solo. That does no Brad Cam. Nope, not that. I don't know what the hell just happened to this whole thing. But we're back aside from my face. So I think we were not streaming for a couple minutes, and now we're back. And we were talking about the Raiders, and it ended with Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza running the Raiders is weird when you think of the legacy of just kind of blood coming from their mouths. That's the vibe of the franchise, and now it's nerdy and stupid. Did I tell you that I saw Ohtani pitch live the other day?
You didn't? No.
I went to Toronto, and it was awesome to just be like. It's one of those things where the game was not incredible. It was one of the few Major League Baseball games that I've seen in recent memory without a home run hit in it. But it was a one-run game that, it was won in the eighth. The bottom of the eighth was when Toronto took the lead. But Ohtani pitched, and now my kids forever will have seen that happen. He went 6 innings, gave up, I think, 4 hits, struck out 2, 1 run. It was unearned. He was very good. Not spectacular, but very good. He was crap at the plate. He didn't have a good day. But he did extend his streak. He tied Ichiro for, and I didn't know that they held records just for Japanese players, but most consecutive games reaching base for a Japanese player in history. He tied him at 43 in that game. He was walked on the first at bat of the game. He was hit by a pitch. He also struck out twice, so he wasn't great at the plate. But we saw him. We witnessed it. We did it, and it was cool.
World Series rematch.
And it was World Series rematch. How about this? Cool. 3 o'clock start. 3:07 first pitch on a Wednesday in the middle of the week when the kids are off from school. And like they had a bunch of stuff scheduled on Monday and Tuesday. So it was like dead center of the week off. We go out of the country to a major league game and see Ohtani. It was cool. Like scheduling wise, it was just awesome.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
And
a couple of other
he wouldn't have been so the regular rotation. We bought the tickets just because it was a game. It's Dodgers. My wife's really into the Dodgers. And Ohtani or otherwise. Like she just likes him. She likes all the players. Bought the tickets and then mapped out the pitching rotation, and you just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It was gonna be Ohtani Monday, Yamamoto Tuesday, and then some dude on Wednesday. But then Dave Roberts announced 4 or 5 days in advance that they're trying to preserve Ohtani to, keep him healthy all year. So he's not in the regular 5-man rotation. He's in the rotation, but they're picking the spots for him. So it got spread out a little bit. So he had like 6 or 7 days off instead of 4. And they announced, we already had tickets, and they announced, oh yeah, by the way, Ohtani's next start will be Wednesday afternoon in Toronto. We're like, yeah, I already got that. So it was awesome. All right, that's it. Go ahead. Your turn.
Well, that goes along with the Japanese starting pitching schedule is on a 6 or 7 day schedule.
Oh, really?
So that's always one of the big adjustments that they have to make coming to the U.S., where instead of pitching every 5th day or every 6th or 7th day, they have to pitch every 5th day. So there's always like that arm adjustment.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they would, when they can, give him those extra couple of days to rest.
Cool.
All right. Anyway, a couple of other football notes. The Jags just announced that Travis Hunter will be moving full-time to cornerback.
Oh.
So, again, they use all of that capital. They go up. They get Travis Hunter, the Heisman Trophy winner, because he played 2 positions, offense and defense.
And now he's just a DB.
They say he's going to revolutionize our team. He's going to be a game breaker. He is absolutely going to play on both sides of the ball. He is going to be a difference maker that takes us from nothing to something. He's injured most of last year, and now all of that is already gone.
Wow.
So that's fun.
Cool franchise.
If you're a Jags fan, you're like, well, like, what was all that about? We could have waited and taken a corner. Like, we could have not given up first round pick and just taken a corner where we did.
So don't
instead of what
draft him in
happens.
fantasy, is what you're saying. Don't draft him in fantasy.
Yeah, I mean, they said he will still be involved in some gadget plays and stuff like that. But to me, that means if he's on the field, he's getting the ball, which means you're really like, what are you really going to do with that?
Yep, we've experienced
You know
that.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have seen that before. um, Also, one other thing, UB spring practice going on, most spring practice going on with college football across the country right now. UB spring game coming up here in a couple of weeks. Interesting to note, the Bulls will be playing Central Michigan in late November. I think it's their 11th game of the season. Tommy McIntosh, leading wide receiver for the Chips, blew out his knee this
Ooh.
week. He is gone for the season.
Ooh.
So just a little note, keep an eye on here. It's probably not something that we'll talk about for the next 8 months.
Right. But we'll get to
before
it.
we get there. But just putting it out there that they're returning their leading returning receiver that they had. Now they want to run the ball all day long if they can. But if you remember the game last year against the Bulls, the reason why the Bulls lost was they decided to come out and do something completely different from what they did the 11 other games, which was throw, throw, throw.
Yeah.
So, all right, I'll take anything we can get at this point
Yeah.
for that. I have two more things written down here.
Okay.
I think that it is incumbent upon us to talk about Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini.
Okay.
I think we have a responsibility to our listening audience.
Okay. I'm
to talk
comfortable with that.
about this. Is there any doubt in your mind after seeing the
No.
photos that there was something going on there?
No. No. Is there
Yeah,
any?
I don't.
Do you
All right,
trust Vrabel
okay.
at all around anything?
Yeah, no, I don't. He, you know, his biggest quote here the last couple of years has been how he would cut off his own penis to win a Super Bowl as a coach. Um, Looks like since he hasn't done that, he might as well use it. Uh, this is a mind-numbingly dumb decision for Diana Rossini. This has almost no impact on Mike Vrabel at this point.
From
This
a
is
professional
all,
standpoint, yeah, that's right.
let's start with the Vrabel side. I think that there's a very real possibility that the only reason he's going to be receiving some backlash here is because this is public. I think that there is a very strong possibility, as somebody who has been with a football player of note from college at Ohio State, not Youngstown State, at Ohio State, that some of this might be baked into the cake of your life. But as long as diseases, random children, and publicity don't follow, you're probably going to be okay because the checks are cashing in the 6 digits and larger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where I could very well see, like, I love this guy. I know the type of temptations that he's been dealing with and can deal with on the road. As long as I'm not getting a disease, as long as I don't have to deal with extra kids, and as long as I don't have to deal with the public embarrassment, we
Whatever.
can live with that as long as it doesn't come home. And so that might be a problem for him. But you never know. A college sweetheart of 25 years with kids, not a good decision.
Yeah.
But again, this is professionally not going to affect him. Personally, I can actually see where this is going to affect him a little bit, but it's kind of like, I got a Super Bowl ring, honey. Like, what are we talking about?
Yeah.
Take it easy. On the other side for Rossini, my goodness, it's not fair to say that because she's a woman,
Mm.
Whatever.
Mm.
I think it is in this case because if this is a guy who we find out is covering the WNBA and
dude, this is getting weird. And
making out with
Caitlin Clark?
the GMs, yeah, like for
Asia
Stoops,
Wilson.
that's a big problem.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. It just so happens that in this industry, it's a man's sport, and you work at the New York Times, and it's not appropriate to be banging sources. And that sure looks like what it is right here. Um, I feel like if the story she's been telling, which is it was just a coincidence, I was on a girls' trip with 3 other girls, we would have seen releases from her of the situation where the other friends are there with Vrabel.
Yeah.
What hasn't happened?
Yeah.
What hasn't happened is
Any of that.
her or those friends have not come forward and said, look, here we all are. We're by the bar. Everybody's hanging out. Those pictures in the pool were just at the other side of the pool, and we're all talking and having a drink and whatever. No, that's not happening. So this woman has decided to throw away her career, her livelihood, and her marriage with kids for like the 9th best player of the 2000 Patriots dynasty. It couldn't be dumber. It couldn't be dumber on her part to do this. Like, okay, let's just say, I mean, let's really walk through how this plays out for her. The New York Times, because she's a woman, is not going to be in a position where they can just outright can her unless they have excellent evidence that this type of thing actually is happening. They have to stand by her at this point. Okay. But that doesn't mean that when this contract runs out that the New York Times is going to renew it. So now she's on a ticking clock. The husband is probably not happy. I know I would not be, and has probably been in touch with an attorney. And part of this attorney is going to say to a judge, you know, her job is going to take her away from home a large amount of time. So now she's going to lose custody of the kids, which means she's going to have to pay him child support and not see the kids. All leading to eventually she's going to be divorced. Vrabel's not going to leave his 25-year marriage for Diana Rossini. They never do. And she's eventually going to lose her job with the Times. She's going to lose everything from this. She's going to lose everything.
She's going to work for Barstool, right?
Is she? Because Barstool is the New England Patriots. Like, are they going to side with Rossini in that? I don't. Maybe.
Oh, I didn't know what I had to process the Patriots thing, but they are. Yeah, that there's a Boston. Yeah.
Right. Are they still going to be able to have their relationship that they have with Vrabel if they're going to employ his side piece?
Right. Yeah, probably not there.
Probably not.
What's the other one? The Ringer. They're not going to do it. See, to me, she has. How do we do this? Women in that industry, this industry, whatever, in the industry, are battling at all times for credibility.
Correct.
And you have to work really hard to get to a point where you're just treated as a person as opposed to a woman, and that's gone. Like, you can't bounce back from this from a credibility standpoint. I don't even, like, no judgment. I don't even care, like, as a person, but as, like, the journalism,
their life,
journalism part of it.
That's not the case.
No, the journalism part of it is what she has barring a massive comeback. Like, there's got to be some, but like you said, where are the photos of the other women there and the girls trip and all? Like, she's done. That's dumb. That was dumb.
Yeah. I will say it was a fun conversation because you and I live in a much smaller version of this. It's much smaller world version of this. We travel 6-7 times a year with UB football. We're on the road. You know, we're covering this team. We're out there. So I was like, you know, suspend disbelief if I somehow. The internet is such that even though we're only, quote unquote, only covering UB, that if this became public, it could become viral very quickly.
Right.
Because people like this type of stuff.
Right. Broadcaster busted.
Like, because I showed her the pictures and she's like, I don't know. That's you can't really. And I said, all right, well, I get home from a trip to Ball State, and this is the front page of Reddit,
From Muncie.
right? And you see this,
Yeah.
I'm like,
How we doing?
you're
Yeah.
not like how you feel about how you feel. And she's like, well,
Yeah.
all right, I kind of see, she's like, if I'm with you and I know, and you call and tell me like, oh, Diana's here and we're just hanging out, or like we FaceTime or whatever. She's like, I guess I could see around this and
Yeah.
whatever. And I'm like, right. But you also have to remember that if I'm in this situation, I'm not going to do that because I'm having sex with this other person. And I don't want you to know. So that's where we're coming from. And also she kind of didn't really believe me on this. You can verify this as another man. He's in Phoenix. Okay, Vrabel.
Yeah.
Ain't no man driving more than 40 minutes for a platonic hookup. Okay.
For coffee.
If this guy's going 2 hours, okay, I'm getting strange. Okay, no doubt about that. So we can just throw that platonic nonsense out the window. Yeah, it's going to be fun for everybody that's not her. Honestly, I mean the internet is all over it. It's like every time I think, you know what, maybe something like this happens and reminds me, oh, that's right, I need it for this. I need it for when she tweets about there's a meeting about replacement officials, and there's 2,000 replies, all of them like, who are we replacing? Your husband?
Yeah.
Or is it like it's
I haven't
like
followed
the draft?
I haven't followed any of that, but yeah, of course that's
Yeah,
that's where we are.
It is entertaining, but it is not going to be fun for her.
No.
It's not going to be fun for her at all. Okay. Do you have anything else that you wanted to throw in the fire on that?
On that, no. I did not intend to talk. I don't mind talking about that, but I don't have anything written down. So no.
Well, I think it's interesting. None of the outlets are actually talking about it.
Well,
ESPN has not commented on it, outside of the Times saying we believe Diana Rossini, that this is an innocent interaction. Which, like, have you ever interlocked fingers with anybody that you weren't dating before?
I don't know that I've interlocked fingers with my wife, and we've been married for 17 years. So
right.
I don't
Right.
If I said, Scott, I got it. This is this really cool trick I want to show you. Let's interlock our fingers. You'd be like, no. Like, right? I mean,
Right.
I would want you
Yeah.
to say no. So no, the pictures they're very damning. I don't know, but yes, I do.
And I just want to add, if I find out Adam Schefter
That was the thing.
giving out handies to Joe Shane, he should be fired. Like, that's not cool. That's not cool.
It's definitely not cool.
I'm equal opportunity on this. This is not a woman sleeping with a guy thing or cheating on a wife thing or anything like that.
Well, I did want to say, when you said picture a guy covering the WNBA, my head immediately jumped to when Bill Laimbeer was a coach. And like I wanted to, but I skipped it. Not appropriate at all. Don't interlock your fingers. Don't interlock anything with Bill Laimbeer. Schefter is interesting though, because as we were talking, I brought up a story. Schefter was on. He did like a 10-minute hit on a radio station in Philly where they kind of grilled him on the Rossini thing, and the article was just about how, you think about the way that like big J journalists react. And there was a reference to like the woman that asked Liam Cohen the question after the playoff game, or not even asked him a question, but you should be proud, young man, that whole thing, and how everyone was like, she's a disgrace, and but nobody has stepped into this one. Nobody's talking about it, and apparently they were like grilling Schefter on it, and he was squirming, and it was apparently a 10-minute, a very uncomfortable 10 minutes of radio, where Schefter refused to decry her in any way, just like, yeah, I know both of those people, and I don't know what happened. I don't know. And I didn't hear it, but reading about it, it sounds it's interesting. The lack of response from the people who normally really respond to this sort of thing.
Right. That's why I think it was our responsibility to point out that you and I have never once, not a single time, had sex with anybody
Ever.
for a scoop at the University of Buffalo.
Nope.
Right.
We've been very strong in resisting.
I did have a funny moment of, the pictures of them interlocking the fingers and then hugging are on like a balcony out the back of a bungalow, which, by the way, a bungalow that's only accessible, that is a single person room. It's one bedroom. There's only one bed in there. You can only get there if you're renting the room. So let's throw that out there. But they're out there overlooking the view, and it reminded me of when we were in the Bahamas at the Bahamas Bowl, and we had a patio
we
like
had
that
the place, yeah,
where
we did.
could see the ocean.
Right. And who did we invite over?
Not
Paul
once
Peck.
did we go outside and hug.
We invited Paul Peck over, hung out there with Paul Peck and a cameraman.
Right. And not once did we interlock fingers.
No. And we
not
never
once
will.
did we hug.
Nope. We won't.
Well, I'm not going to say never. I don't want to.
MAC championship. MAC championship could lead to a hug. It would never lead to interlocked fingers. I will never interlock fingers with you, ever.
See, now I'm invested in getting you to do it.
That's a promise. It's like a food challenge to you now.
Yeah. Now I will. Now
I would do it. I would do it on a dare or whatever. But it will never naturally happen.
Naturally, no. Yeah. Right. Of course.
You could trick me or con me or something, but I'm not. That's just not something I'll do with you or Peck or Fuller or Mark Allnut. I won't interlock fingers with Mark Allnut.
For a story. Especially.
Not to get a scoop. So how exactly did you land the Broadview deal? Here, interlock fingers. Let's talk about this.
Let's hold hands and discuss it. All right. So my last thing I thought that you would be very interested in, because this is kind of right up our alley. This reminds me very much of the type of thing that we would be discussing at length in great detail in the hotel room.
Okay.
Like in a Toledo hotel room.
Yep.
When it's 2 p.m. and we still have 4 hours left of the bus.
Before the bus, yeah.
Okay. Are you aware of a major story in the nation of Uganda?
Nope.
Okay. There is currently a chimp civil war.
What?
Happening in Uganda.
Oh my God.
And it's significant because
it's already significant.
This, according to scientists, happens about once every 500 years. And this is now the first time without human interference that humans have ever witnessed this happening amongst a large group of chimps. There's about 200 chimps in Uganda, and there are two different factions, but for generations and generations, there were friends of each other on both sides of this, and they worked together. And while they weren't one, they would walk patrols together around their territory. They would work together. They were friendly. There was never any conflicts. And then apparently there was a disease that went through 2018, something like that, where 4 or 5 of the big people that were involved in the friend group that kept them together.
By people, you mean chimpanzees?
Died. Yeah. Well, sorry, chimps.
Yep.
Died. And slowly but surely, the ties that kept them together started eroding, where now they hate each other.
So this is how my family doesn't do the 4th of July picnic since Uncle Ed died?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's fascinating on several different levels. Apparently, there was a smaller version of this that Jane Goodall saw back in the 70s, but scientists don't really consider it to be in the same vein, because at the time humans were giving bananas and stuff as a part of their interaction with the gorillas. They weren't just strictly observing. So it's that's not the conflict.
You're messing up the science. Yeah.
Right, right. This is the first time that we've ever been able to fully witness and see. Like, there's raids. The Western group goes in and kills babies.
I see that.
Will
They've
rip them
launched
out of the mother's
coordinated lethal
arms.
attacks,
Yes,
killing at least
yes.
28 males, including infants.
And it's just fascinating because now scientists, because we are so close genetically to chimps, um, scientists are able to, like, for the first time, see, like, here's a group that is not being affected by
Social
politics,
social media.
right, everything else, and it's showing how important actual natural relationship is, and how when one side just actually stops talking to the other, how quickly, like, it all turns, like how quickly a civil war can happen when one side stops communicating with the other. So it's fascinating. I don't know. There's a lot of jokes on the internet that's like, Trump needs to pick a side now, and we need to send the troops in immediately to wipe out the other side so that we can claim victory. Like, there's a lot of jokes about it, but it is a fascinating look
That's
at
crazy.
a real life and being covered. Now the scientists involved are consider, like, they call themselves war correspondents, because they are they are
Right.
observing a chimp civil war amongst themselves. And this large in numbers too. There's like 200 chimps involved in this. So it's not like it's five guys that hate five other guys. This is a full on clan battle
Yeah.
that they're witnessing, when they were once a united group of, yes, two separate people, but friends. Like, I think it's fascinating to just find out chimps are doing patrols
Yeah.
of their
All of this is amazing.
own
I can't wait
of
to
their own
not
area.
talk about this so I can read about it. Honestly, like I want to understand it. I'm not signing up to go there, to be a actual correspondent, but I want to read what the
I'm sitting in
correspondents have to
Rossini,
say. Well, that's what I was thinking. I was picturing interlocked chimp fingers.
right? So we can get the full story on this.
Yeah, should get the scoop.
What's the deal on AJ Brown and the chimp civil war is what we need. uh, but yeah, I feel like that's right up our alley.
Oh my
Right
god, it's
there.
amazing. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to add. I'm fascinated by it, and I can't wait to
Well,
read
I'm
about it.
springing
And
it on you, right?
maybe we'll keep following it and talk about it next week. Speaking of next week, I watched two movies last night, and I want you to watch both of them. Both
Okay.
are that Untold series on Netflix that can be
Okay.
really,
Yes.
it can be very hit and miss. I feel like I find myself unsatisfied very often after watching, because it's always about something I'm interested in. But then you get to the
Right.
end,
But
you're like,
sometimes they don't go far
they
enough.
don't get you anywhere. I thought
Yeah.
both of these did. One is Chessmates. It's about, we talked about this at some point. I don't know if it was on the show or just in life.
Yeah.
But this battle between Magnus Carlsen, who's like world number one chess player, and then this Hans Niemann guy who is like this up and coming punk. And then eventually the story evolved into, is he cheating using anal beads that are sending him signals about what moves to play? And it became like a real story, to the point where this guy's life, he doesn't go a day without somebody bringing up anal beads to him. Um,
Right.
it's better than you think it would be. Like it goes where it
No,
needs to
I'm
go.
excited. I know that
Yeah,
it's there.
it's
I was
awesome.
ready to watch it last week, but it wasn't out yet, so
Yeah,
I was pissed.
right.
So
So
it is
it's good.
queued up.
And the other one that's been sitting around for a while that I didn't get to until last night, right up as this one was ending, I was like, all right, I'm back in on Untold. I trust the franchise again. And so, hey, what's that Lamar Odom, the life and death of Lamar Odom, who's not dead, by the way, but you know what I mean. He died and then came back
Right.
like
No,
Damar Hamlin.
I had to Google it when I first saw that, the name of
Right.
the thing. Right.
It was,
So, like, wait, did he die? I didn't know.
he did, and then he undied. Um, it's also excellent. Like both, I watched both of them. I was falling asleep watching. Not no fault of Chessmates, but I came downstairs to watch. I'm like, I'm gonna watch this thing tonight, and I was just tired, and I fell asleep probably 10, 15 minutes into it. I woke up like 40 minutes into it. got up, got something to drink, sat up, rewound, and watched the whole thing, and then was invigorated enough from watching that to watch another one. And I was thinking, hey, Lamar Odom, I'm going to try that. And that was the thing that was the preview. Like, so that movie ended. It's like, I bet you'd like Lamar Odom. I'm like, you're right. And then I watched that whole thing too. And I want you to watch both of them because there's a lot to talk about in both.
I will definitely watch both. I'm with you on Untold. Um, Swamp Kings, where they talk about the Urban
Florida,
Meyer
yeah,
Florida team, and it's like
dud.
no one's going to talk about Percy Harvin,
Right.
and everybody that played there was like, Percy Harvin's the scariest person I've ever met, and he's like a 5'8", 180-pound guy. I'd like to know why, please.
Yeah.
And they did not provide any of that.
The Donaghy one was trash.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
they're finding the exact right subject matter and then disappointing me regularly. But neither of these two was disappointing.
But there have been enough hits that keep me
sure
interested.
I keep trying. I wrote down one quote from The Life and Death of Lamar Odom, and Odom said, "I don't know who your God is. Allah, Jehovah, Christ, Kobe." I was like, okay, I will watch a whole movie of this. Like, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I hopefully there will be a full documentary about the Civil War in Uganda.
Oh yeah,
with the chimps.
I don't want it done by Untold.
No, I want that done by
PBS. Frontline. Right. I want Frontline to do the chimp war.
Oh, who's the guy?
Chris Hansen.
Oh, dang. No. Who's the guy that does like Civil War and baseball?
Ken Burns.
Ken Burns. I want Ken
Burns doc, a 12-part Ken Burns doc on the Ugandan chimp Civil War would be fantastic.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
All right,
amazing.
Good enough, man. We'll talk. All right. We'll talk Monday.
Let's do that.
All right. Bye, Scott.
Bye.
All right. That's Scott Wilson, our senior football correspondent. Stuff I wrote down that I didn't talk about. The Sabres won 5-0. It was 1-0 after 2, and I missed the first 2 periods. We had, what did we have? Baseball practice. I had running around to do. So, like, I was listening, kind of, but I was also trying to finish. I had a book on tape from the library. I've been meaning to talk about the library. What? Not right now. I'll write that down for Monday and then never get to it. Library. Chuck Klosterman has a book called Football. It's about football, but it's about everything because it's Chuck Klosterman. And I had it rented is wrong because it's free. There's an app called Libby. And it's like the library app, and it's tied to the Erie County Public Library. And I had the book out, but then I was like halfway through, and I missed the notification that I needed to renew it, and I lost it, and I had to wait like 12 weeks to get it. So then I put a reserve on the audio book, and I got that, and I zipped through it, and I was going to lose that by like tomorrow or so. So I was, rather than listening to the Sabres while I was driving around, I was listening to this book on tape, and I got through it. I finished it. It was good. I recommend it. Football by Chuck Klosterman. Everything by Chuck Klosterman is good, but this was exceptional. So it was 1-0. Sabres game is 1-0 at the end of 2 when I picked up my kid from baseball practice. The game was on there at the baseball place. We're driving home. It's like a 6-minute drive to get home. The Sabres score to make it 2-0. I come home, talk to my wife for 5 minutes. I'm like, I'm going to go downstairs and watch the end of the hockey game. There's only, 10 minutes left or something like that. By the time I get it turned on, it's 8 minutes left. And then they score, and then they score, and then they add an empty net goal. Dahlin from behind the goal line or right at the goal line flips it up high over everybody right into the net. Just super cool. So 5-0 win for the Sabres. That ended. I watched the end of Montreal beating Tampa, which I think was good for us. I think that's what I wanted. And the standings look great. 2 games left for the Sabres, 3 games left for the others. But they've got a very good shot at the division. And some hope at 1 overall in the conference. You're going to need some help from, some teams taking care of business against Carolina in order to overtake them. But I'll take 2. I'll take second in the East. That is fine after 15 years of no playoffs or 14, whatever it is. That's fine. In watching the end of the Montreal game, they had This guy, Cole Caulfield, scored his 50th goal of the year. And then Slavkovsky scored his 30th goal of the year. And they showed a pregame interview with Nick Suzuki, who is their captain. It was like, all right, is it going to be Caulfield getting 50 tonight? Or Slavy, or whatever they called him, getting 30? And he went, both? And he was right. They both scored. So Montreal's the team to fear. They look like the Sabres. They look hot and fired up and confident and ready. And damn, that's a playoff series. It's been a while since a Sabres-Canadiens playoff series, but I can see that happening in round 2, probably, not round 1. Because I think one of them, I think Tampa probably finishes third. So either Buffalo or Montreal ends up one facing a wild card team, and then I picture them both winning. And so that would be Buffalo, Montreal to decide the Atlantic, winner going on to face. It's a new playoff format. I'm working through all of it, but that's how it looks to me as of right now. What else did I have written down? Chessmates, Scott. Another thing I don't feel like doing because I'd have to look that up, and I don't want to. All right, I'm going to end the show. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for watching, listening. Sorry about, I didn't even really mention it, and I don't even know if anybody's here, but this will all be, I'll piece it together for the podcast version. At some point, I opened up one too many browsers, and everything just closed. So Scott was talking about Kirk Cousins and Fernando Mendoza, and then it was like a minute or so of just Scott talking to me to nobody. And I don't know that got recorded. So there's probably going to be a minute or two missing when I piece it back together. But sorry if the broadcast, maybe it kept going. I don't think it did. Maybe it's still going on the other one, and I've got 2 streams. I don't know. But we had a technical situation that I just ignored and moved on and kept going with Scott. So I apologize for a break in the action, if that exists, in the recorded version of this when it's posted online later this afternoon. And that's it. All right. I'll be back on Monday. Thanks for checking it out and being a part of episode 290 of RITER Radio. I don't even have the thing. I'm not even going to play the thing, the go to lunch thing, because that's not on the screen either. Oh, there it is. All right. That's back. We'll play that. Bye.
What are you doing for lunch?
I don't know. I have a turkey sandwich.
We're gonna go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?